can you trade your current hypervigilance for some spontaneity? Giving back the hypervigilance, reclaiming spontaneity? Can you trade your habits that don't actually feed you in exchange for trying new things while letting go of some fear? So when our home life isn't safe for us as kids, we don't develop a sense of self. That's one thing. But we do develop a very strong radar system. We aren't present in our little kid world. We're hyper-focused or hyper-vigilant, if you like, about what the adult's world is like. What are the adults going to do next? Or what are the adults not going to do next? We have to skip adulthood. It's like an exchange. Trauma survival always is a kind of about some kind of an exchange that we're forced to make. It's not by choice. This is like a transaction. If you want to stay safe or keep others safe, like your siblings, you have to skip things that don't really matter to you at that moment, like being a kid in your own kid-like little world. And as adults now, we have to deal with it because another transaction that is going on as a result of this earlier transaction is if you skipped childhood, you might not be fully present in your life in adulthood. Here are my top 3 signs for adults that tell you you may have skipped big parts of your childhood in order to stay safe, as well as what can we do about these things. The first one is you're all business. Being all business looks like this. You might be more focused on doing the holidays right rather than enjoy them. Or you might really hate the ambiguity about plans or not having plans. Or you might struggle to roll with things. You might not really know fully how to be spontaneous in your life, of how to just roll with things, how to enjoy things in the moment, how to come up with something. Being all business to me is being wrapped up in our hypervigilance to prevent mistakes or embarrassment or any potential shame in our adult lives. If we're too busy preventing potential disasters in our mind or getting caught in some kind of chaos again, it's impossible to kind of let things unfold because we don't know that we're actually sort of safe and we don't know that we can actually handle things in the present. So what can we do about this thing about being all business? We can do some inner child work and on purpose kind of sit with ambiguity, or sit with not knowing all the details and force ourselves to maybe let things unfold as much as you can tolerate. That is both a practice, and we're going to need some therapy work to address just how keyed up we were as kids, keyed up about what's going to happen next as children. And if we haven't met yet, I'm Patrick Teahan. I am an MSW as well as a childhood trauma survivor. My channel is all about childhood trauma education and childhood trauma recovery. If you identify with any of that in the big ways or small ways, go ahead and hit the subscribe button while you're here and we can connect more about it. And the best place to work on all this stuff is I lead a membership on childhood trauma. In that membership, there are courses, there are journal prompts around our inner child work, there are live events and clear and connecting resources. All you got to do is click the bubble up here or up here. I can never tell on the moment where it is, but it's somewhere up there and you can learn all about it. Moving on to the second big sign is who needs peers? If you're like me with this one, growing up too fast meant to maybe embrace being called an old soul, which really can mean that you felt more comfortable with older people and adults and not comfortable with your peers, other kids your age. We often conflate this concept of being an old soul for actually kids who had to be little adults to survive. Who out there of you kind of chased attention from teachers or wanted to impress the adults or be just like them, like you were not interested in being a kid, which is not good. The reality of that is we trade being a kid among other kids for acceptance and attention from the adult world. And now, as adults, we don't really know how to have maybe friendships or peer relationships because we feel too different. Let me know if you felt too different back then. At the heart of this is kids and trauma. Other kids maybe didn't have to survive like we did, or that's what we assume. It's a complete disconnect. We had like secrets. My dad takes me fishing is what a kid might say at school, and you might be inside, be like, well, my dad just screams at me and hits me. Those are different disconnecting worlds, right? So when it comes to peers, That's compromised because of the way that we're raised. Play dates are kind of dumb and a waste of time to you. Like you're like, well, I've got these encyclopedias to look through. Or these kids in my class, oh, they're so sheltered. I can handle rated R movies and I'm only 7 and they can't. Even in college, you might have felt like the senior among the freshmen, where you weren't more mature, you were just less allowed to be a regular 19-year-old. And now as adults, we maybe don't fully value our peers. Maybe we still feel like the oddball, just like we did as kids. But regular life seems kind of like superfluous or just kind of lame. But we are also very lonely and feel weird with our peers still, people your age, people in your same place in life. And let me know in the comments if you relate to this. Maybe just say weird with peers in the comments, and then we kind of have each other to relate to as actual our peers. What to do about it? This one is really about grief-oriented work, I think. Notice how you might exclude yourself from your actual peers. Do you still feel like they won't get it? Do you still feel like you're too out there or different? Or you have to be secretive about your secrets from growing up. The psychological work here would be about grieving with others, like a therapist or in a group or something like that, who can see you that maybe you didn't get to be a 10-year-old, while also doing the work about holding abusive parents accountable who weren't making sure that you weren't skipping your childhood. Healthy parents protect their kids from adult issues while providing like kind of a kid-centered, good enough existence for their children. And the third and the final symptom is what I call down with downtime. This is about not being comfortable with downtime or relaxation. You might get sad or a little bit anxious about your free time. Vacations might be stressful to you instead of being restful. You might feel more disconnected when there isn't something to do and struggle with, again, like what I said earlier about maybe being spontaneous with a day or two off if you're lucky enough to have like days off these days. An additional piece here is your downtime might be doing habituated stuff that isn't all that nourishing to you, like maybe doom scrolling. How might that relate to growing up too fast and skipping big parts of childhood? Hypervigilance hates it when you don't have your guard up, or if you don't have structure in your life to keep things at bay. Structures are good, but too much structure is really not good. You might have or have had a period in your life where having a job or even getting into some workaholism helped you regulate your emotions by not having your emotions. If you relate to this one out there, maybe leave a comment about what downtime kind of does to you. Does it make you sad? Does it make you anxious? Does it make you feel disconnected? And I say this from experience. Adults who grow up too fast can struggle in their adulthoods because our worlds are kind of too small. And there is that exchange again where we gave up a fun and life full of possibility to have our world be more predictable and small, even to the point that you might have one point in your life not like to try new food because predictable things felt safer to you. Not like safer, but just like you didn't want to get bothered by new things or something like that. Down about downtime really makes me think about two things. One is we can feel uneasy about not having a threat around us to focus on or be vigilant about. And the second thing is we didn't actually grow up with things like rest or play or creativity or replenishing. So downtime creates stress when it should actually kind of soothe us and put energy back in our tanks. What to do about this one? Inner child work that is solely focused on reclaiming rest and working on ourselves around wellness and things like play. And I'm going to give you a quick hypothetical that I want to challenge you to see if you can relate to this about your life right now related to your childhood. Imagine a Friday where a child, say in the second grade or third grade, doesn't have to worry about the parent's mood. They get pizza with their parents that night. They maybe watch a movie. They feel seen and connected and loved. If you didn't have that, doing nothing might be feeling like you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And to heal, we have to teach our inner child that rest isn't dangerous. It's replenishment. Rest is even a lot of connection. Even you can be connected with yourself in it. Here are some final thoughts on this video. Growing up too fast is about having to focus on, again, what the adults were going to do or not going to do. That really takes a child out of their present. So we have to skip a lot of crucial things in our development, like a chill, fun childhood. Not perfect, but good enough. So we skip those crucial things in exchange for dealing with the neglect or the chaos or the emotional abuse, all that stuff kind of flying around you. But you can get a lot of this stuff back in your adulthood. It just takes some work. Hypervigilance really needs to be soothed. Like we would do with a little kid, it needs to be turned off with some internal care and some love. And we actually have to learn how to actually be chill, maybe for the first time in our lives, and do stuff that feeds us, which might feel like unnecessary to you. And imagine if you could get to the place where your peers didn't intimidate you or cause feelings about you not being good enough or bring up some shame. Or even if your inner child kind of says, like, who needs those vanilla people with their regular lives? They don't get it. Like they actually might get it, and you maybe don't have to be so disconnected from your peers in your life. If you relate to that, comment that if you've ever struggled with vanilla people, if you know what I mean by that, like people who we assume have no idea what it's like to grow up in childhood trauma. Those people exist, but we tend to exclude ourselves exclusively about that kind of stuff just to keep ourselves safe, if that makes sense. I would love to know which of these three ideas resonated with you the most, and just know that they are really common for this stuff. If you didn't grow up with safe connection, of course, being a kid wasn't all that great or interesting to you or even safe. And the work here, like I talked about in the beginning, is about reversing some transactions, like a bank exchange or something, like a refund. Exchanging those things that kept us safe. Can you trade your current hypervigilance for some spontaneity? Giving back the hypervigilance, reclaiming spontaneity? Can you trade your habits that don't actually feed you in exchange for trying new things while letting go of some fear? Can you trade your disconnection with people your age and your peers in exchange for a redo, like being curious about them without the shame about you being the odd duck or you being the traumatized kid and they're not? These are all the things we kind of needed to do back then, the normal things that we lost out on, and we have to do some work around them in our present. I would love to hear from you in the comments about if this was helpful or not. And as always, thank you for hanging out with me. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well, may you be peaceful and at ease, and may you be joyous. And I will see you next time. Thank you.